friends. Welcome back to the Simply Social podcast. We're really excited about today's episode because we have a fabulous special guest joining us. It is our creative director, Patrick Nguyen. Please welcome him to Simply Social.
Thanks for having me on. It's great to be here.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you're here. You are really like the brains behind all of the creative work at C-Squared Social. And I know you're kind of in the background, so having you on the podcast today is super special.
Thank you. Yeah,
Thank you for being here.
It's pretty great.
Well, so tell us a little bit about kind of like your journey with C-Squared. How did you get into design?
So I've been designing for nearly 15 years. I started in my early 20s, and then I've been in the creative space even longer than that. In high school, I started doing film production and like digital media back then.
How cool.
And so I was working on really old Macs that just took forever to make anything happen. But I've always held a creative position for just the longest time, whether that was doing graphic design, social media marketing, video production, photography. I didn't plan on it happening. It just kind of happened, and all of a sudden, I'm a creative director at an advertising agency, and I don't know.
And very good at it.
The journey's been pretty awesome.
Yeah, well, you were actually one of the first designers on our team.
Mm-hmm.
And so much, like, as you guys know, so much is changing. We have a new office, we have a growing team, lots of new people. How much has it changed since you've been brought on?
Oh, man, it's changed so much. We've been able to really like start to sit back and expand our creative, and it's been a really awesome thing to see, from just trying to get some static ads out that really identify with a company's brand, to moving into the motion graphics space, and then bringing on new team members and really being able to just expand. And this is what we can do. And these are our new product offerings. It's been an amazing ride, and it's been great to like look towards the future and just have these new goals and these new verticals we want to get into. And, one of the ones I'm really looking forward to is getting into YouTube, and because I'm a bit of a YouTube addict. That I don't watch normal TV, I just watch YouTube. So I have experience with viewing.
And you get in like that YouTube hole where you
Where
watch
did the
a couple
last 5
episodes
hours of my life go? But I'm excited to start seeing advertisements that we're creating going up on YouTube, and being able to then make bring us up as experts in that field. So I think the future is bright and awesome, and there's just this never-ending calamity of what we can accomplish and do.
Well, we work with so many different types of brands in all different industries. So how do you guys, like your team, how do you kind of navigate through that? What design elements are best for each brand? How do you kind of like divide and conquer with your team on what's best for each client?
Yeah, it's a hard road to navigate, because I think you're surrounded by creative everywhere you go. You see ads on billboards. You see certain branding and styling when you go out to a restaurant, and then the commercials you see on TV. And a lot of the times you see some stuff and you go, man, that is amazing. We should do that. However, we are a restaurant, and the ad I just watched was Nike, and those don't necessarily fit very well together. And I think that's a hard lesson, and it's a hard pill to swallow for some people that are just like, no, the Nike ad's amazing. But I think a lot of the way we navigate it is just by really diving into what that client, like what their brand style is, going through their website, seeing how they portray themselves out in the world, seeing what kind of advertising they've done before, but then also getting on the phone and chatting with the client and hearing firsthand what their brand means to them and what their styling is, and then doing our own research in the industry and being able to really produce something that's well thought out and very creative for them, because that's the creative. That's the thing. As you scroll, we're working out our thumbs, that we want to catch people's eyes, make them stop, click learn more, and then it's all gone from there.
Yeah, no, I love what you're saying there. I mean, every brand is so incredibly unique, and we hear a lot of that verbiage being like on brand, right? Or having like a brand story. How really truly important is that for brands? I mean, I know a lot of people hear that they need to be on brand or like have brand standards. In your opinion, how important is that?
Yeah, I think when a lot of people think of a brand, they think of a logo. And a lot of people think, that's my brand. Okay, where do we go from there? And I disagree in that. Your brand isn't just a logo, you have a brand identity. And your brand identity goes from the simplest things of how you answer the phone and how your emails are, how you reply to emails, but also how your email is set up. Like everyone in the company is using the same font.
Right, so the things you wouldn't necessarily think of.
Yeah.
Right.
But then expanding from there, it's your brand identity just speaks volumes to who you are to the world. So like you see a billboard, for going back to Nike, you see a billboard for Nike, it's not just a billboard advertising shoes. You're looking at Nike's brand identity.
Right.
And it's so important to develop that and to have every single member of your company really embody that. Because from there, like the ads we create get your client in the door, but then your brand identity has to continue going from that to how they're greeted, how they're treated, and everything like that. And it's a big deal, I think.
Being fully cohesive, yeah.
Fully cohesive, yeah. And having that consistency throughout your brand identity and really identifying, like, we are a cutting edge technological company. So everything we're going to do is going to be pushing the boundaries of design, and, that is our brand identity, rather than, if we have a nursing care service, that brand identity is going to be a lot softer. We're going to use a lot of like cleaner, brighter colors and a lot of more kind faces in those ads, and you can have so much going on there. And just because you see a brand that you like doesn't necessarily always mean that brand identity will work for your company.
Right, yeah. It's so unique for every person.
Totally unique,
it's
yeah.
so true. Well, and we're having everything be on digital, obviously, so important. Our last episode was all about Instagram. And people ask me all the time, is Instagram the right platform to be marketing on? Should I be utilizing Instagram stories? And I know we do so many ads on Instagram, obviously on Facebook, on LinkedIn, all over the place. But Instagram in particular, I know, is a platform that is where it's the fastest growing platform, and it receives the most engagement. From a design perspective, though, I think it's so unique in that you can tell like a true story at it. But what's like your thoughts on Instagram as it continues to be sort of the market trend?
I think Instagram is just like it's almost like Disneyland. Like it's just like it's so fun because you can do so much. I think the really cool new advertising industry on Instagram is Instagram stories, because I find myself, and you spoke to this on the last podcast, where you just you find yourself 30 minutes, 40 minutes into stories, and you've seen 4 or 5 ads in the meantime, and they're so engaging, especially when you have great movement in there. And our motion graphics artist has created some amazing Instagram stories for our clients. And I think that's really where the market is trending towards. Now, I don't think you should only be sticking with Instagram stories. Like you still need the full package to get through. And so you still need those like static ads and like introducing like minimal motion graphic ads in there.
Right.
But Instagram stories is just so fun, and I find myself just lost in it all the time.
I do too. So addicted.
Yeah.
The screen time on my phone, I know that like the majority of that screen time is from Instagram. So guilty.
Yeah, me too.
Very, very guilty. But that's awesome. That's so great. I mean, I feel like that's where the majority of everything is pushing towards nowadays is definitely the Instagram space. So what would you say kind of is some of like the really the do's and don'ts for Instagram? Like I know you said we've talked a lot about like static ads and having motion graphic as well, but would you recommend like kind of ditching all static, or do you think that there's sort of some goods and bad that come with having a healthy combo of both static and motion?
I definitely think healthy combo. You can't just no, I'm not gonna say that. Cut. I definitely think having a healthy combo is very important. You know, like we want those Instagram stories catching people's eyes, but a lot of the times you see it and you go, okay, that was cool, and you move on. And then later on, when you're just scrolling through Instagram, now you see a static ad for that same company. So we've hit you twice now. Okay, cool. Thinking about it, those shoes look cool, whatever is being advertised. You keep going, or now you find yourself on Facebook and you see a Facebook ad. Same company, same styling. We've had a brand identity across all of the motion graphics, to the Instagram ad, to now Audience Network or Facebook ad. And now we've just piqued your interest. But it all started with that motion graphics. And you need that package because a lot of the times motion graphics won't display across all of the Audience Network.
Right.
And the Audience Network expands further than, you know, Facebook and Instagram. So we're hitting them on so many fronts. So while the industry is trending towards more motion graphics, static are always going to be here to stay for the time being until, you know, maybe in a few years we'll revisit it and it's only motion graphics. But for now, stick with some statics as well.
Who would you say is really doing it well? I mean, do you have a couple brands or people that you follow that give you a lot of good design inspiration?
You know, besides us. Yeah, so I don't tend to follow specific brands. So I'm on Instagram a lot. I'm addicted slightly, I guess you could say. My wife would say I am. And what I tend to do is I follow a lot of pages that are design based, and I follow a lot of pages that show off kind of like here's Nike's latest ad, or here's McDonald's latest ad, and then we can get into these other companies that show off really amazing logo work, and I seek inspiration kind of from those things and coming from all places rather than just identifying with one brand. And I think that helps in the ad space that we're in, because we're advertising for so many brands that I can't just get pigeonholed into like, man, I really just like sports advertising.
Right.
Because then all of our ads are going to look like sports advertising ads, and that's what I'm going to push my team to do, and that's just not going to work for all of our clients. So I like to seek inspiration from everywhere and anywhere, and it's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. I think I need to do that. I think I follow too many just fashion or beauty. I need a little more well-rounding
I follow a lot
in my
of beauty
Instagram
ads too. Yeah.
Following. So just kind of like design questions for you. What are some like your favorite like color combos that you're seeing lately? Anything that's inspired you in sort of color schemes?
I feel partial to blue because C² main color is blue. But overall,
shameless plug.
I know, shameless plug. Hex code 0085C6 for all you nerds out there. I think blue is just a really good color scheme. Blue works well with a lot of different colors. But also, I really like gray tone. And I think you could do so much with gray tone, because gray tone lets, if you have a logo that is a color-based logo, gray tones really let that color-based logo pop. And it sounds so boring gray as I'm wearing gray, but it's
perfectly plain.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, did this on purpose. I think grays are where it's at because they're so neutral and it works across so many verticals that you can kind of get away with using gray tones. Well, don't overdo it, but it works well.
I'm excited. I need to go back now and look at all your designs, see how much gray there is in there.
Probably too much.
All right, Pat, last question of the day. What's your favorite social platform?
Oh, I think I've talked about it too much, is definitely Instagram. Maybe it's a tie between Instagram and YouTube, but is YouTube really a social platform? I don't know. Definitely Instagram. I find myself just scrolling through too much during the day, and I follow so many like logo designers or other advertisers, and getting inspiration from them that I just keep going, and I try to screen cap things and send them to my team and say, look at this is really cool. And
yeah, there's so much inspiration.
Do you
do a lot of Instagram stories?
Not personally. I don't think I I'm too consumed with like getting the shot perfect, and so I just choose not to get the shot because it's not perfect for me, and it's probably my downfall. Always be shooting, and I don't follow those rules.
I'll do the Instagram storying for
Thank you.
Don't worry. Well, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
It's
It was
so
fun.
having you on here, and I'm sure you'll come back and revisit us at another time.
Yeah, another time.
Thanks for being on, Pat. And for those of you watching, thanks so much for listening. And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check out what's going on next week on the podcast. And that's all for today. We will see you next time on the Simply Social podcast.